Okay, we've established connection there. All right, just like the title says, a taboo conversation for Americans. Coming to you with diametric opposition as the host, showing opposition on all sides to the current situation in our country. We're going to end up discussing a lot of things today. A lot of the ways that people are feeling, current events, the border, race, everything. Militarization of our police. Muslims, are they our friends or our enemies or both or neither? Want to get into a lot of things. I actually had a lot of suggestions. I had said, hey, on my Facebook, want to discuss things we are not supposed to. And some of the suggestions are as listed. I put racism, Muslims, Christians, government versus America, GMOs. And then somebody put, how about, well, it's kind of radical and frowned upon, but may we dare talk about the Constitution? So I'm definitely going to talk about that. We have a right to bear arms, and some people think it means that we have a right to wear short sleeve shirts. My buddy Ben said, are you talking about the pink panty and bra you used to wear? Not sure who you're talking to there, Ben, but I expect nothing less from you. It's good to see you around, buddy. Keep participating. I love how people have a good time on there. Everyone knows you can clown on my page, have a good time, be cool. Our freedom of speech has been infringed. You could be beaten by a cop or put in jail. The police state and the border situation, freedom in a country or its lack of. I'm going through everyone's suggestions if you can't tell. Okay, and we've got one person said their signal will be fading in and out, so they'll be in and out with questions. Okay. Let's see. So let's talk about a lot of the ways that people are feeling and what's being discussed. I'm going to give a couple of minutes to people that I actually shouldn't, but I'm going to address this. And then this will be the only time I give them any airtime. They're really not worth it. We all know that. They're glory hounds. They really don't stand for anything or much of anything. They've already bought in hook, line, and sinker to the BS that comes our way, and there really are proponents of the BS that comes our way, whether it's to divide us by race or religion or whatever it is, or whatever patriot organization, or if you don't belong to one. There's a guy running for sheriff of Baltimore, I believe. He had made a statement. Oh, by the way, I am going to offend you in this conversation. Period. If you're fat or skinny, if you're tall, if you're short, if you're black or white or anything else, if you're a man or a woman, if you're a human, if you pay taxes, if you don't pay taxes, if you consider yourself a party member, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, um, you'll probably be offended by what I have to say, strangely, because I'm of the opinion that you couldn't be any more offended by my words than what you see on a daily basis in your own homeland. So maybe consider that for the people that are ultra sensitive. I don't buy into political correctness just as much as I do not buy into unjust laws, and I will not obey or conform to either of those. It's ridiculous. I actually know what my country is about. I actually understand our freedoms and liberties in a way that says, and this isn't popular, people don't like this, but if you are racist in this country, if you're, and this is this Baltimore sheriff, he said all white people need to shut the fuck up because they're the most violent race on earth. And that's the quote, end quote. And if I got it wrong, I don't care. And I'm pretty sure that's it. But, you know, he has a right to be racist. I think the general consensus in the country is that, honestly, people don't care. You can be whatever you are as long as you understand all of us have to come together in order to preserve those individual beliefs. And that means coming together with people you don't agree with, you don't like. You have to, because there's a ruling class that doesn't care about any of you, and they absolutely want you to keep calling each other names and hating each other. But I have a question along those lines too. Are you sick of it yet? Have you had enough of the racist bullshit in this country? There's so many people that have. So many people that I talk to on a regular basis that are like, you know what? I'm not going to consider myself evolved, but I really don't feel in tandem with those racist morons. I really don't. And if you want to be a racist moron, that's fine. You're still going to have to come and partner with people that you don't care for, because it's going to take all of us coming together to get control of our country so that we can preserve our ability to, you know, be what we are as individuals, individual liberties, individual freedoms, you know, with our free everything, all the way down to our freedom of speech and how it is that we think. And, you know, if we look at when we fought, you know, Mexico off at the border, and it was Ferdinand, I believe, and I may have that wrong, but they said something like they lost like 5,000 troops in one day on the Mexican side. It might have been 500. It was a ton of folks, and it wasn't a bunch of white guys on the border, and it wasn't a bunch of black guys on the border. It was white people, black people, and not too many of those. I mean, it was because there were different tribes of Indians, pirates, that had actually given our generals the gunpowder and firearms they needed. So, you know, it was this huge group of people who otherwise would not have come together, but they understood what they were fighting for. They understood the importance of, this isn't an imaginary line. It's a boundary that is the difference between war and sovereign peace. So if all the racists and everybody come together because they see, I mean, you have to see what's going on in this country with the government. You know, you can love the rights we used to have and the freedoms we used to have, you know, but that's about it. Um, so, you know, I think what'll happen, there's a natural progression. You stand shoulder to shoulder with this guy who is shooting at people that are trying to kill you, something inside of you changes. You know, you can't help but you let go of some of that stuff. You know, that guy helped to reassure that you get back home to your family. How much animosity could you have for him? You know, it would be unnatural. And I know we live amongst unnatural folk. I get that. There isn't as many of them as the polarizing media would want you to believe. It's like less than 1% of the population truly operates on that kind of modus operandi. Most of us generally want the same things. Let me talk about some other generalizations. Americans are racist. This is one of the more ridiculous things I've heard. And that's why we don't want Mexicans coming into the country. It has nothing to do with that. And that's a refuge for people who have no answers. That's all that is. When that race card gets pulled out like that in such a ridiculous way, you already know it's not the truth. They're telling you immediately what the distraction is that they want you to pay attention to. It absolutely makes no sense to say that Americans don't like Mexicans when you can find Taco Bell everywhere. That's inspired by Mexico, along with I don't even know how many other freaking restaurants. I mean, I cook for my family. I cook with cilantro that we grow, you know, known to be a Spanish Mexican um, plant they put on their food. So it's, you know, we spend who knows how much money Americans and Europeans and probably Canadians and Australians spend in Mexico, or used to before all this cartel junk, but spend in South America and in Mexico because the place is freaking beautiful, and they have computer designed hotels for American and European tourists. Cancun actually means nest of snakes because this is crazy, but the natives said that when you used to look at Cancun from a distance, it looked like Cancun itself was crawling because there were so many snakes. They considered that area the nest of all snakes. They would not go there. Developers came in with construction equipment and everything else and eradicated entire species of snakes that will probably never ever, they're gone now, they're extinct. And Cancun was built. You won't find a snake there anymore. And it's because of how you go in and build for American and European tourism, and then that's supposed to stimulate their economy. Obviously, that didn't work, and but to be racist, everybody knows that's bullshit. I'm calling you out on it because it's bullshit. You're gonna have to come up with something else. Some other generalizations. There are just some jobs Americans won't do. No, no, that's old. I believe it or not, that comes from old propaganda, and they change wording sometimes. It's actually pretty slick. It's pretty smart stuff. But it's complete bullshit. Again, we built the sewer lines in the country. You sure there's jobs we won't do? It was our family who built everything, you know? And some of those people are from Mexico. That's like fifth generation Mexicans, you know? Good folks. And they would, they'll, and other Spanish folk too. They're Americans, homie. You know what I mean? They've been here a long time, a really long time. And they understand what it is to be American. They assimilated. They came in and they said land of opportunity, took the opportunity. Can't get any more American than that. Which will bring us to the Muslims. We got to talk about the Muslims in places like Dearborn, Michigan, and mega mosques. Here's a hint. I'm putting you on notice. You're not American. You're not trying to be. That perfect example I just gave of how even some Chinese, and Chinese were done wrong in this country, way wrong. If I was the leader of the U.S., I would start talking to the Chinese. This would mean a lot to them about getting the dead bodies of the Chinese that are here out and into China, because they have this belief that if you're from China, if you're Chinese and you're not buried in Chinese soil, your soul is doomed to walk in straight lines. I don't know why, but I would hate that, I would hate to believe that too, that my ancestors are freaking, walking straight lines as a dead person, you know, so let's get them, our country really understands laying them to rest, so we got Chinese here that have been, fifth generation Chinese folks. Uh, they shop at Walmart, which I'm not going to advocate that, but unfortunately that's pretty American. Sucks, but it is. So, you know, all this Americans are racist and prejudiced, stop it. It's ridiculous.
We spend our freaking money around the world, man. Who in the hell are we supposed to be racist against exactly? Who? You know, we go to Spain, for vacations and take our families. London and Paris and all these other freaking Australia if you can afford that. Um, we go to all these places. We don't spend our hard-earned money over there uh, to pick fights. We go there because it's a vacation. We're on vacation. We're enjoying that place. We like the culture. We enjoy the culture, the food, the people, the music, the atmosphere. A bunch of us have family overseas, and so, you guys are gonna have to drop that bullshit. We're not, we to just say that we're racist and then use that as an argument against immigration. You've lost your mind. If you know anything, then you were watching the news just like we were when we saw the United States government's Department of Homeland Security betray the American people and bring all these they're illegal. That's why they're called illegal aliens. It's illegal to be here if you're them. It's illegal. It's against the law. It's not undocumented. It's illegal. And it's not post-traumatic stress syndrome. It's shell shock. We need to stop this. Let's call it what it is. People are hurt, and we're not treating them. Why? Because the government's in charge. Government couldn't give a damn. We know we have the most highly trained military on planet Dirt. We know that. We train them with, guess what? Firearms. It's one of the first things we do. We teach them how to kick some ass, shoot some guns, and grenade launchers. Sit in a tank and shoot the tanks. I mean, these are the most skilled people in handling firearms on the planet, and the government knows that. That's why they're telling our veterans that they can't have gun rights, Second Amendment gun rights anymore. They send you to war. You come back, they say, oh, you have PTSD, shell shock. You're hurt, and you can't have a gun. Holy shit. Are you serious? This is what you're seeing happening in the United States of America in 2014. So here's something unpopular I'm going to tell you. You've lost your country. It's not that you're losing your country. You've lost it. It's gone. Okay? Now, why would I use such extreme alarmist speech? Why would I do that? What evidence do I have to substantiate such a wild claim? Could it be the Department of Homeland Security bringing in buses and then admitting later to flying them in the country because you have people blocking the borders and not wanting them to drive them in, and and I'm talking the borders where they're regulated and we actually have traffic and border patrol. They are actually bringing them in, and then we also have guys that are trying to block the actual unregulated border, and they're away from their families. They're having it rough. Nobody's thinking about them is what they're thinking. Why in the hell am I even doing this? Why am I trying to protect America's border? Some of these people just got done fighting a war and managed to maintain their gun rights. And here they are fighting another war. They're being shot at with larger caliber weapons, but no one's allowed to report it. Oh, is that another wild claim? Do some research. Figure it out. Find out who the 3%ers are out west. Talk to those guys. See what they've been going through. I know it's hard to believe. There's a disconnect. It's an easy disconnect because you can still go to McDonald's. Because you can still go to Walmart. Because you're still playing your Xbox. Everything seems normal. It seems like everything is as it should be, and there's no way that things could be like this. While a lot more of us already know that our hearts are broken as Americans. Not only is this country not what we were told it was, but it seems as though, and I know everybody wants to jump down Obama's back, but are you freaking serious? Do you honestly believe that this shit started with that one man? I mean, there's no way in hell. It's Bush. It's Clinton. It's Bush. It's Reagan.
It's all of them. Listen, this ceased to be about Republicans and Democrats many years ago, unfortunately. I don't want to go on video and, be the one to tell people you lost your country, but you lost your country. DUNS, Duns numbers. It's the number you get when you are a corporation. You're allowed to be a sole proprietor. You're allowed to be, you can register your business a number of different ways. You get a DUNS number as a corporation. Why does your state have a DUNS number? These are things I've started to learn. I didn't know any of this stuff, And then I realized, man, I'm going to do something about this. And, and start to go out and voice my opinion, meet up with different protesters, become a member of different organizations. And there's a group out there. It's a secret group. So if you want to be part of it, you'll have to let me know. And you'll have to tell me specifically, hey, I want to be part of the BDF group. And what they do is they teach people what it is about what it is to be a sovereign citizen. And then I found out to be called a sovereign citizen is like a really bad term. It's like a dirty word. I had no idea. I looked up, and I'll do it now while I'm talking to you guys, that way I don't get this wrong. I looked up the definition of sovereign because I was pretty sure that it didn't have a negative connotation to it. And if you ask our government, it's like calling their mama out of their name. They are not listening to that. And it means you're a terrorist in accordance to the United States government's latest debriefing from the Department of Homeland Security. They freaking listed sovereign citizens. I could not make this up. Sovereign citizens, patriot organizations with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And guess what? When I do these videos, I do not substantiate my claims often. I don't. It's for you to discern. I already have. I've done a ton of freaking research. Now you can. You can look it up. And to be honest, patriot groups really don't want you unless you have been able to discern for yourself. So that's another reason. And I can give you different sources if you want. But so I'm going to give you a bunch of different definitions because you can use it as a noun and an adjective. Tell me somebody didn't get a hold of the word. Okay. Belonging to or characteristic of a sovereign authority. A monarch, a king, queen, or other supreme ruler. A person who has supreme power or authority. Hello, I am live on the video. How are you?
Hi.
I just started to talk about sovereign citizens, so let me announce who you are. This is one of the founding members of Unite Ohio, and she went to a major meeting today down in southern Ohio and met up with a bunch of the different patriot organizations and militia that are deciding to work together. And I am assuming that you have an update for us.
Hi, everyone. Well, Rich came down with us from the Ohio Patriot Bikers. He just left, and I think more than anything, that was a great opportunity for him to come out and meet us and meet them and see what everybody is getting into.
Nice, nice. So it's a whole new organization that we're just now meeting with, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the meeting itself, how did that seem to go? Did it seem like everyone was on the same page?
Well, I think that they have worked together before, so they just did their thing. I mean, Doc was there and was showing us some of the, I think it's called the DNC steps, like the marches building and stuff like that. He was showing us that, which we all need to practice on, apparently, especially me. But it was pretty cool. We got to see where they're located and where they do their stuff, and they were down there doing some firearms practicing, and we didn't get to stay, or we didn't arrive as early as we'd like to have due to GPS situations.
Oh.
But it was a good time.
All right. Nice. Everyone got to enjoy each other's company, and that's nice that there's a new group. Now, he's the president of the Ohio Patriot Bikers, isn't he?
He has a certain title, and I cannot recall what it is.
Okay.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
I think there's like 4 chapters of them, and he's in charge of this section of Columbus.
Okay. All right. Good deal. So a whole new group got to meet up with Unite Ohio, and had some of the different militia down there that were able to get some training in. And was there anything else, anything major or anything like that that we can do live on the video?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. And when I get done with the video here, is it okay if I give you a call back?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I'll give you a call.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right. One of the big meetings we had, I wasn't able to make it. Had a lot of different members down there, and it's kind of a meet and greet. It's also kind of a training for the different militias to get to know each other. It's also a way to organize and plan different events and things. So good job, guys. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there, and I'll make it to the next. So sorry for the interruption. Let's get back. Sovereign citizens are terrorists. They were listed with ISIS. So you should know that. If you look at, I would suppose that if you look into anything sovereign citizenry, you're going on some kind of sovereign citizenry watch list. That would be my assumption with the way that everything goes. So I wanted to bring this to light because I think a lot of people will be interested in what they're talking about. And I don't want to speak on their behalf, but there's basically there's been 2 constitutions. And that's why each state, each city has a DUNS number. They're now corporations. The United States changed the U in United States from a little u to a big U when they made all of this change. It was in the 1800s, and that shows ownership. That was when we became a corporation. We were no longer a sovereign nation. So let me find these definitions. A person who has supreme power or authority. A group or body of persons or a state having sovereign authority, which is authority over yourself. You have the sole power and authority over yourself, your body. Supreme, preeminent, indisputable, greatest in degree, utmost, or extreme. Saying this is your authority. So there's the actual definition, because I didn't think it meant, cold-blooded killer or anything. I was pretty sure it meant, there was a case where a guy was somewhere in a wood line, foraging for food. He's a homeless gentleman, and I guess everybody in town kind of knew him, and he's a nice guy. He's a decent guy. He's not living in a house, he's living outside. All right. He can do that. And I don't know. I picture the guy. I don't actually know what happened, but I picture the guy is like sitting there picking berries, and a cop comes up and arrests him or gives him a ticket or whatnot. And he ends up they call him to court. They call him by the name on his birth certificate. Well, because the way your name is printed
on your social security card, your birth certificate, and your mom's name is actually listed under notifier and some strange numbers, it actually shows ownership of you. You're actually owned. All of us are looked at as equity. So not only were we wrong about our country, right, and what we were told our whole lives, but it seems to be so much more worse than that. It seems to be so much more egregious than what anybody could have possibly freaking imagined. Your name's in caps because it shows ownership over you. So he didn't show up and, acknowledge himself as the name that they addressed him as. He addressed himself as the witness. He was the witness to that crime that was committed against his sovereign person. That actually made sense to me. I have authority over myself. I wouldn't like to think that I'm owned as a piece of cattle or sheep. I don't think anybody else would either. And I implore everybody to look into this for themselves, see what the hell is going on. If you want to check out the BDF group, let me know and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I want to check out the BDF group. There you go. We'll do that. I can send you over to those guys because I can't pretend to know all that stuff. I mean, these guys are freaking well-versed. They know all kinds of, they can teach you the law. They can teach you, what you should say when you go to court and how to handle yourself correctly and, not be owned, not, have ownership over you. The courts actually speak in a different language than what's used today. So there's this big difference between a donation and donatia. And the difference is you pay taxes on one, you don't pay taxes on the other. And the courts know this, and they all use that, like public officials and stuff. They're very well aware of the wording. And that's one way that they manipulate. And manipulate us because we're unaware and we don't know how to speak Latin. Crazy games going on, America. Crazy freaking games happening. They're playing stupid games with all of us. It doesn't make any damn sense. So now we got this guy. He was running for sheriff of, I don't know, Baltimore. Is that what it was? Yeah, Baltimore. And he's telling all white people need to shut the fuck up because we're the most violent race in the world. Okay. First of all, I got on his site and I got on his Facebook, ended up speaking to one of his representatives, had a really weird conversation. Hopefully I don't think they have it up anymore. I think they deleted it, but I've got it on my Facebook if you want to check it out. It was just bizarre. I don't know if I caught him like late on a Friday night and he was drinking or if he I don't know. Maybe a kid got a hold of it. His kid. No idea. Weird responses. It didn't make a lot of sense. And but I told him, I said, look, man, that antiquated racist stuff you're over there talking, and he's a Muslim. And he's got brown skin, and he has all these hateful quotes up there on his Facebook. And what do you do? You know what I mean? The guy wants to hate people. And I told him, I said, you can hate me all you want. You can tell people I'm your enemy all you want. I'm not. Never been your enemy. Never gonna be your enemy. You're some moron that you're doing whatever the hell your racist stuff is, dude. You're running the completely opposite agenda that I'm trying to create, that I'm trying to be a part of. If I can manifest that in my life, you for damn sure can. But nah, you're choosing this. You're relying on your lowest of instincts, and I told you that in the message. It's easy to be hateful. The only person you're impressing though is yourself. There's some good folks out there that can be just as hateful as you, and we choose not to. We're not trying to, we're not trying to do that, trying to hurt each other and everything. And you got to understand, man, that's small-minded. That's really petty. You're buying into this divisionary agenda, let's separate ourselves further because that's a woman, and that's a man, and that one's skinny, and that one's fat, and that one's tall, and that one's short. All these dumbass things, man, while we're all being screwed. Collectively, we're all getting our asses kicked by the same ruling class, and they're laughing at us, When people say things to me like people on welfare should get drug tested, listen, you deserve this state that this country is in. You're the reason that this country is in that state.
because you don't understand freedom. You don't understand liberty, and you lost your heart. You know, if you honestly think that the bane of this country's existence is the welfare recipients that are Americans, next time you have a thought, buy a plaque, type that little thought up, put it up there while you're standing on your soapbox. Show the world. Show it to them honestly. See the critique you get. It's ridiculous. And there's so many of us that are just not buying into it. We have no interest. None. We really don't care. Well, and here's the thing. We understand, you know, if, you know, the fit hits the shan in this country and we all have to band together, you're either going to be right there, right beside us, just as confused as most everyone else, or they will have already gotten to you. So whatever you think, you know, that's worth. And then there's a woman that she's some. I've been told she's a government shill. I've been told she's. She had the Anonmobile in D.C. And everyone in Anonymous was saying it was the Fed mobile, right? Well, you know, been kind of busy. I have no idea who this person is. I've never heard of her. And I see these videos where she's going around chasing patriots, right? She's chasing OAS members, and they're all confused. They're like, what the fuck? You know, like, what's going on? And she's sitting there yelling at them and berating them and just saying off-the-wall stuff. She's making this huge ass out of herself. So I had said something like somebody had peed in her Cheerios, right? And I said, can someone get me in touch with this lady? Not thinking anybody could actually get me in touch with her, because who the hell knows who she is? And then I found her Facebook. That's what it was. And I sent her a video that Anonymous had made in regards to her. You know, and it was like, hey, this lady's a government shill. You know, she's just there to subvert. You know, she was using her sexuality at the OAS rally they had in D.C. And she was a big part of like what was trying to break people up, you know. And she used this like ghetto mentality. She comes in and starts. I used to live in some really bad neighborhoods, and because I'm white, they you know, everyone thought I was a cop, which is weird. That's really weird. I mean, I know what I look like. You know what I mean? It's not like I woke up and was like, what the fuck happened? No, I'm well aware of what I look like. I get that, and that's what she did. She was using her sexuality on some of the young guys, and then she's like, oh, that's a snitch, and that's a narc, and that's a... I mean, it's like the old school tactic, you know what I mean? And that's why it's nice to have the network of people, and people kind of know, and so her name is, what the hell was that lady's name? Christine Ann Sands. That was that lady's name. She was talking shit. She said Jeremy Dieter's got a little dick or something like that. I didn't actually, blocked me, so I couldn't see it. People were telling me. And so what I did was and I'll do it again here. In middle school, we used to deal with chicks that would say stuff like that. And so we found a real quick way of dealing with it, real easy. And guys, in your personal lives, if you want to use this, go right ahead. So, you know, in whatever circumstance it is, chick says, you know, you got a little dick. This is my challenge to her. Public place, you know, or if there's a private place where someone could facilitate this, I'll show the world my little winky, as long as you let the world smell yours. There's no amount of scrubbing that you can do, and we know that if it smells like cologne, to leave it alone. And it wouldn't matter how big, small, whatever mine was, when people had to face your bog of eternal stench. So, and you know what it is? It's classless morons like you that come along that, you know, all you're trying to do is damage, and we see what you're doing. We are used to that. The American people are used to people trying to separate us. We get it. We understand. We're pretty numb to it. That's why I wasn't really impressed with anything she had said. She was just kind of a... I don't know, man. I don't know what her deal is. loose cannon type person. So there's the time I'm going to give those people. I want to talk about the United States Constitution. There was a school that had a child studying the Constitution, U.S. Bill of Rights, the amendments, our Declaration of Independence, and all these documents. And I can't say it. I wish I could quote it. It was that freaking ridiculous. Something about the founding fathers wrote the Second Amendment. They never said right to bear arms, and they never said firearms. They said basically so that some people could have certain weapons, except for people who had been convicted of felons or convicted of crimes, and all this other stuff. It was just completely untrue. And the revisionist history is right in front of us. You lost your country, you know. It's another blatant example. Oh, wow. Excellent. You're the best. I was just given a huge plate of food. You gotta see this. Wow, here, I'm gonna pull up the camera. Make sure I can see what I'm seeing. Ka-chow. Sketty. So, I go to my daughter's school to meet because we had a situation with a teacher. No big deal. Wasn't a big deal at all. And I figure, you know, if I'm there, then it would be a waste to not talk about Common Core, things going on with the school. I'm a concerned parent. I want to be engaged. And because I know different patriot organizations and we're talking to people that are anti-Common Core here in Ohio, which is really picking up steam, be a part of that, please. We have this discussion where I'm the only one talking, and he repeated himself numerous times. I said, you know that Common Core is horrible, and then I started to, you know, I went to education.gov, I quoted some of the things on there. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. His hands are completely tied. He has no say. He tells me basically, he just repeated it over and over again. I will implement whatever curricula or a strategy is given to me by my superiors. And I was like, but seriously, dude, it's just us two in the room, and you can tell me whatever. And he wouldn't break, man. He, you know, I will institute the policies given to me by the cronies, you know, whatever. So it didn't go very well. We'll be contacting the superintendent, but Common Core has been called socialist, a way to promote pornography. I wanted to know why. I looked into it. There's reason for it. There's actual reason for it. I actually posted some of that stuff up there on my Facebook. Crazy stuff. This lady's in the freaking class with a strap on, pointing the head of the penis right at her vagina. I mean, incredible. So racists and people that are teaching Common Core and these agents to subvert us. I was talking to somebody. They said, man, you probably got about 15 feds on your Facebook. You know what? Good. Good. There's a couple reasons for that. First of all, I have no freaking clue how to avoid them. Let me just say that. I mean, they're everywhere, right? We know that we have Masons in some of our patriot organizations and some of the militias. And, you know, it is what it is, right? I mean, you know, if it's a Mason that, you know, is trying to infiltrate something, it's not going to work, you know? We built it in such a way that it is what it is, you know, regardless of what your agenda is. The most effective way to hurt us at that point would be, you know, shoot us during wartime, something like that, because it's not going to change our mind. It's not going to sway us in any kind of a way. But good. They need to be subjected to what the Patriots know. And they need to understand that, look, dude, if you're American and you're a Fed and you're watching this, you know damn well you have a choice to make. You can continue to betray your country. Go ahead, be a traitor.
Because it's easy. Because it supports your family. Because you'll be dead and gone before it matters. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what in the hell your reasons are, but I know they're no good. You know? I'm going to keep subjecting you to the truth. I'm going to keep showing you what free men and women look like and sound like. There won't be anything you can do about it. You can try to subvert our groups. You can try to infiltrate. You can do whatever you want. Get on my Facebook and talk shit. I'm going to own you. I'm going to show the world what you do to some dumbass Fed who thinks he can throw some stupid one-liner in there to cast doubt. Watch what happens. I invite you to do it. You're dumb enough to do it, and I'm going to own you each and every time. Bring all your damn trolls and bring the best, because I don't want to mess with the petty ones. They're dumb. They're easy. It happens too fast. And really stress the point I'm trying to stress. You know, we've been subjected to doubt our whole lives. And we know how to separate. We know how to doubt ourselves. We know how to make enemies really fast, you know? All of that stuff. But you underestimated us. You underestimated our resolve. You underestimated our strength. Damn sure underestimated our intelligence. If you're on my page, then that means I'm doing the right thing. You only validate me with your presence. Why else would you be watching me? Why else would you pay attention to any of us? You know, if we're catching your attention, then that's good. Then you know the American spirit is still alive. You can kiss our ass because we're not going to submit. We're getting people together. We're getting organized. Make no mistake, changes are coming. Which leads me to something obscure. The Georgia Guidestones. If you don't know what they are, some mystery man years ago had these big-ass monuments built in Georgia in a place where spiritualists and everybody says lines of energy cross. And there's a bunch of monuments there. They're all written in different languages. And they all say the same thing. You know, it's like Egyptian hieroglyph and Aramaic and English. It's real strange. It says some really weird things. It's not consistent with any known theology or religion. It talks about the Earth's population being under such amount and maintaining that at all times. I mean, that's the first thing is population control, you know. And then it talks about not having, that made me jump, not having petty laws and petty officers for petty laws. I don't know. It's weird. Look them up. Georgia Guidestones. Well, there's a block that was cut out not too long ago, cube size, in the corner, in the top of the one that speaks English. Just that one. And very recently it was replaced with a cube that says 2014. It's not as if we're not living in the Google age, what you're watching me through. You can actually look this up as I'm talking about it. Feel free. So, what in the hell does that mean? It's a little spooky. Let me see. I've tried to offend as many people as I could. We're not racist because we want to protect our border. We're not racist because we... Oh, religion. I want to get into religion. I want to talk about Muslims and Christians. And this is simple, actually. People like to blah, 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 blah. They like to convolute shit, and it's dumb. Listen. Christians, you have pissed off everybody. You really have. And they do see you... And look, Christians believe in what's called admonishment, right? That's when one Christian takes another Christian and says, hey, dude, you're fucking up. You can't do that. You know, that's bad. Bad for you, bad for everybody, whatever. So the Christians have made themselves look bad in this country. Everyone's well aware of it. And that's what pushed a lot of people away from that religion and that type of religion. A lot of people who are anti-Christian or anti-religion that I have found come from private schools, private Christian, private Catholic, and that's been my experience. And I've had those conversations myself. How does that happen? Why does that happen? And more importantly, maybe, why would you ignore it? Why would you act like that's not the case? You know? Now, there has to be a middle ground here. There has to be a happy place for Christians that, a happy middle ground that, speaks to the effect of, I understand where Christians have hurt themselves. They've shot themselves in the foot in a lot of instances. And I can also see where the 23 Judeo-Christian biblical references that are in the Constitution also speak to the effect of when the Founding Fathers came over. This is another lie. Like, there are some jobs Americans won't do. This is another lie. We have... we've been taught that... Oh, man, I lost my thought. Yeah. One of the many lies that we're told frequently is we have... Actually, let me go through a list. Christians are intolerant. Christians are all hypocrites. Christians are, these generalizations are dangerous, and unfortunately a lot of us deal in them because we're taught to. It's a society that teaches you to do that. I mean, when you hear that's the language that's spoken by everyone around you in entertainment and everything else, there it is. By the way, this isn't just a message of hopelessness. I want to talk about the problem, and then I want to give a solution. Another one of the lies that we're constantly fed is, and it's done through insinuation and inference mostly, is what we're not capable of and how weak we are, and that there's a pill for that. All of that's ridiculous, and it's gotten the American people probably in the weakest state that we've ever been in, both mentally and physically. It's very dangerous, and we're dangerous. We're separated through the danger of the theology of party lines and race and sex and creed and all of this. Then when people had a foundation they could go to, which was the Christian church, they don't feel like they have that anymore. They don't feel like the same Christians that started the country are the same Christians, or the heart of the same Christians that are here now. And in a lot of ways it shouldn't be. But they feel as if what was good is lost. So let me do this. Let me implore the preachers. If there is a freaking preacher, priest, whatever, if you're in that position and you are a person that sees this video, let me implore you, okay? The American people are constantly sold short. Most inferences run on our being naive when we're not. Tell people the truth. Speak from the heart. When you start speaking like this, you're there for money. When your church is the size of 4 football fields, you're there for money. We know these things. We will not follow these things. You people are insane, and we get it. We're not going to listen to anything you have to say. And you are hypocrites. Tell your heart. Speak the truth. Tell it like it is. Even when it's uncomfortable. What's funny is Christians will defend Jews, right? In the Holy Land and everything. But the Jews, they have to remind the Christians, I know it's comfortable for you to chalk up this story and this story and this story to allegories, but they're not. They're literal. When the Founding Fathers came over, they didn't give freedom of religion, in the way you want to practice your religion, so that people of other religions could come over. That wasn't actually it. They were coming from the oppressive Anglican church in England that said, if you don't do sacraments, if you don't pay tithes, if you don't, it was all about control. Pretty sure you had to be there 4 days out of the week, or you were a heretic and you were locked up in the Queen's jail. So that's what happened. I mean, that's they were saying that you could worship the Judeo-Christian God as you saw fit, because they were interpreting the Bible for themselves. And then look at what happened. They came here, Quakers, Mennonites, you know what I mean? Like, all this started to branch out. And what was just the Anglican Church, right? Yeah. And they allowed that tolerance of these different religions because they were Judeo-Christian based. It made sense. In God we trust. I mean, it's all over everything until you start taking it out. And then you have school shootings and everything else. I'm not saying that's the cause, but, you know. And I got a lot of friends that are atheists, you know. And my true atheist friends couldn't care less, just as long as you're not bugging them. And they figure that's where they should be, you know. You start messing with their country, and they feel a little bit different. But let me take it to another extreme. Anti-government folks. Why are they anti-government? Why are they in America as American citizens and they feel anti-US government views? Why? Because they see the same things that you and I do. They see how they've been betrayed time and time again in many different ways. Rights taken away, the way the IRS investigates Republicans, you know, and it fuels that fire for the Republican versus Democrat debate that everybody loves so much for some freaking reason. Are you sick of it yet? Have you had enough? Are you tired of it? Are you done with it? If so, it's time to move on, and there's a lot of people ready to move on with you. A lot of folks. All you got to do is speak up. That's it. All you got to do is speak up. Yeah, you're going to be in the scrutiny. You think I won't catch shit for this video? I absolutely will. I absolutely will. And I better. That tells me that the American spirit is still alive, that we're still passionate about this country. We're still passionate about debating it on its merits. I want to catch hell. It's the only way that I learn. It brings so much virtue for me to, you know, talk to maybe somebody who knows constitutional law, and they say, well, in the 1800s when they did this, it was, you know, voted on and blah, 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 and you could simply vote it off, vote it away, resend it, you know, what the fuck ever, I don't know. I learned. I mean, that's how I learn. That's how all of us learn. I'm not intimidated by anybody's intelligence. I can tell you I'm a freaking nitwit most of the time. This time right now, not that totally included in that. I'm I'm just an average guy. That's it. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I'll for damn sure speak my mind. And what I found out was that I wasn't the only one. You know what? I'm sick of being a white guy who is accused of being racist by the eyes of the people who don't even fucking know me, dude. You know? That's ridiculous. But that's our society. That's how it is. Got a lot of racist white folks, a lot of racist black folks, and then you come to find out if you actually talk, it's like, okay, yeah, no, wait a minute. We were doing the same thing this weekend, you know? We were both, like, spending time with friends and family, watching football, whatever it was, you know? And it's because you spoke. This courage is carried through your DNA if you are an American. That's where you come from. Strength. A lot of it. Salt of the earth people who were able to withstand anything to gain and then control, to gain a country and control their own lives. There's no way you can convince me today. There's Fred Thompson, sells insurance, also U.S. politician, no conflicts. He asked somebody, it was a militia member from Ohio, during a committee hearing. It was about terrorism, and they were talking to an Ohio militia member. By the way, the guy's black. He's not a white guy. I know you were picturing a white guy. It was a black guy. And, the black guy's real well-spoken. He seemed like a nice guy. He's like, hey, this is what we do. This is why we do it. Fred kept trying to back him into a corner, and it just wasn't working. And then Fred said, you mean, it's something along the lines of, you don't believe that our system works, Fuck no, we don't believe this. No, it doesn't work. Dude, there's fraud in the voting on every level. Every level. It'll never work. It'll never, ever work. What part of our system are you going to tell me has been maintained and is working correctly? Is it our financial system that's collapsed? Is it the auto industry that's been bailed out by the American people's unwitting, or what? We didn't even want to, but we didn't have a choice. Nobody asked. Um, is it, our healthcare system that's doing so well? Is it, what is it? Is Amtrak, as soon as ownership was taken over by the American government, I think they filed for bankruptcy within 1 year. Government was supposed to come in and make it better. 20 years later, and they've never been out of the red. Never. It's ridiculous. Government is there to bankrupt. That's what it does. And it's bankrupting its citizenry emotionally, spiritually, of course, financially. There's going to be a price to pay for that. All of this division, and we're all going to pay the price. All of us, everybody. And I've seen the American people wake up at a rate that I never knew possible. I didn't think would happen. I doubted it entirely most of my life until very recently, in the last year or so, where these people are waking up and they understand, look, man, that guy's got like Republican views, that guy's got Democratic views, that guy's got crazy views, and it doesn't matter. We're all, oriented towards the same goal and achieving the same thing for all of us and our kids. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. It's one of the fundamental principles of this country. It was founded on that ability to disagree, and that's what we did. We had a Republican president with a Democratic vice president, and then laughed at China when they were smacking the shit out of each other during their committee hearings and stuff, and parliament hearings, and then what that actually turned into was a bunch of politicians that if you speak with passion, if you speak with honesty, you're done being a politician. If you speak like I do and take out the cuss words, you won't be a politician. No way. You have to be this robot, pretty emotionless. You have to go through the oh hell, what's that class where they teach public speaking? Real well-known one. I can't think of it, but that's what they do. I mean, they groom these assholes, and some of them are pretty well groomed. They have the citizenry by the short and curlies. We work so that we can just keep the lights on, barely keep food in the house, taxed without being represented. Hence the Federal Reserve, which is neither federal nor reserve. And let me tell you what that really means. It's a privately owned bank. We could change the name tomorrow to Bank of Diametric Opposition, and it would be the exact same bank. It's privately owned, which means your money is owned by a private bank and controlled and regulated, not by the people, not by your elected and appointed officials, but by some group. And it was meant to deceive, and it did. And now they just print money out of thin air. China wants a bunch of money. We're supposed to owe them. By the way, who in the hell are all these countries in debt to? You know what I mean? Do we not see these failing systems across the board? Maybe it's time to evolve. Maybe it's time for humans to see that when you have like every country, every modern country in the world is in debt, and we don't even know who we're in debt to. What in the hell is that? Are we like in debt to the moon or Jupiter or something? What in the hell? We're destroying the air, destroying the water, destroying the soil. Anybody care that Fukushima is still freaking leaking all over the place? And every time these people from the coast of Alaska go out in their boats and come back, they say it's dead. The ocean is dead. Not only have we never seen this, but we don't have any of these stories in our people where they carry them down through oral tradition. So never before has the ocean been dead. Right? What are you going to try to convince me? You're going to try to convince me that the weather isn't changing, that it's the same as it was when I was a kid? And no, I didn't mention global warming. I don't care what label you put on it. I don't care if it's natural. I don't care if it's man-made. I think we need to start looking up and paying the fucking attention to how many chemtrails are over us, how the weather is changing, how our food is poison,
You know, what in the hell are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Seriously. How many people do you want to poison? And if you don't think our food is poison, please let me know. Please, for the love of God, let me know. I will Monsanto you to death. I can show you just incredible amounts of information on, and really put that into perspective for a second. Really think about what that means, just for a second. Okay? That means at some point in time, somebody said, hey, we're going to put a bunch of, yeah, it's poison. It's poisonous. And we're going to put it in the food. And it's going to make us a ton of money. Think about what it takes to make that decision. It's in children's candy. Aspartame. Aspartame is comprised of 3 things. All 3 of those things are known to cause cancer, and that's it. That's it. Why would they do that? And I want you to really put this into perspective. How many people would you poison? How many? 1? You're thinking of like an enemy or somebody? Or 5? Would you poison 5 people? Can you think of 5 people you really hate? Well, how about 10? How about 1 school? Just 1 school. How about just 1 city? No, 1 state. How about an entire nation's food supply? You know, what the fuck does it take for somebody to have that kind of psychopathic thinking? That in children's candy, in everybody's food, products that are meant for elderly folks? Are you freaking kidding me? We have these chemicals in everything. These are also the same chemicals like pesticides that we use to kill bugs. We know these damn chemicals cause cancer, and we still fucking go and buy them, and we still sell them. Who in hell's making these decisions? Who in the fuck does that? Who? I don't know if you guys know this, but the former head of Monsanto is now the head of the Food and Drug Administration. I'm not shitting you. I couldn't make that up. Again, Google age. Look that shit up. Who the fuck is making these choices? You're damn right this country isn't what you were told it was. It's not even close. It's not even a shell. We're poisoning our own fucking people. We have no representation with at least 80% of our tax. Because it doesn't cost that damn much to fix the fucking roads. Never has. I do have a plan. I do have a solution. Believe it or not. You prepare. You prepare now. You do it through your own means. You organize, or you don't. You just do for your family if you want. You're not going to get very far, but whatever. You can tell I'm not somebody who tries to tell people what to do. I really don't. I hate that shit. We need to prepare, okay? That's what it comes down to. The way that you prepare is understand your position, okay? If the electricity went out tomorrow because of an EMP, because of whatever, you can, you and your community are all going to pillage a grocery store. People are probably going to get shot, killed, and trampled. And then what are you going to do? That food's not going to last at all. Some of it will probably burn up in fires and things. So what are you going to do? What are you left with? There are people that do not know what it means to witch out a well. There are people who do not know, they don't know how to grow food. We went from a farming nation to something else. It's actually illegal to grow your own food in some places. It's actually illegal to catch rainwater for a lot of different purposes, especially to drink. I know that's weird. You can't drink milk that hasn't been pasteurized. If you ever look up Louis Pasteur and what the pasteurization process is, you might stop drinking milk. This goes on and on and on. Look, dude, if a plant is illegal, you don't live in a free place. Everyone has a right to be a nitwit. Everybody. You want to,
Like other countries, man, they legalized everything and then made it to where you get your cocaine from the government, and they regulate it so it's not poison and you don't die. And then when you're done and you say, "Hey, I'm done with this freaking addiction," you go to the rehab. That's it, you know? Because you have that freedom. You want to be a dumbass? Be a dumbass. You absolutely have that right. So, um, race relation. Let me see if anybody brought anything up. Nobody ever participates in these damn things. Everybody talks a good game, and then nobody actually participates. I doubt anybody did, but I will give everyone a shot and see if I can find where anybody says anything. That's what happens. I go to have a video and yeah, somebody did chime in. It's one of our Patriot friends. He says, "Yeah, but the mic wants to bend back every time you move it. Big sound difference in that inch." So I hope I've done better and rectified that. Okay. So I'll check the YouTube and I'll check the Google and then I'll hop off of here. I didn't figure anybody was gonna participate. One of these times I might get somebody to participate, but I doubt it. Most people don't. They, like I said, they talk a good game like they're going to, but then they do not get on here. I'm trying to check my YouTube. I thought I had it up. I didn't. And then for anybody who sees this, wants me to talk about, oh shit, yeah, I want to talk about Muslims and ISIS. I gotta do that. This is simple. If you do not assimilate in this country and you come here, and let me look in the camera when I say this, if you come here just to take advantage of what it is our dumbass politicians will give you, then we know you're here to harm us. If you come here and you do not assimilate, you do not speak English, you do not live in our communities, you have your own communities like Dearborn, Michigan. If you're not going to come here to take part in really being American, we don't want you here, period. Dearborn, Michigan, those Muslims, all you guys, right? We see you built your own community. You have your own publications, your own newspapers, you have your own foods, your halal meats and all this stuff. You're not here to take part. You're here to come here and create something else, right? It's not okay. That's not what you come here to do. Only our expressed enemies would do that. So we're putting you in all the mega mosques and all those different locations that are just like Dearborn, Michigan on notice. You're not going to get what you want. You will not turn this country into, and here's the thing, everybody says like the Muslims want to turn the whole world into a Muslim world. Yeah, just like the Christians want to turn the whole world into a Christian world. That's what they do. You got freaking Latter-day Saints knocking on your door. You ever heard of Jesus Christ? You got, a lot of folks feel that way about their religion. Your religion is not friend to ours. It's like a matriarchal society trying to mate with a patriarchal society. It's not going to work. You're going to bump heads every time. So you need to leave. You need to get out of the country. You can call me whatever you want, care. We know what you are. We know what you're not. You're not here to bring peace. You're not that's not a peaceful religion. A peaceful religion shows up at Walmart, at Super Duper, at Kroger, and they're shopping alongside of us as friends. Not these folks that are trying to have a society within a society so that they can eventually institute Sharia law for their caliphate, and that's not friendly. And we are also aware that if you are under a caliphate, you are allowed to lie to your enemy, which means if I say, hey, are you here to take over my country? You're allowed to say no, and you're not living in sin. Okay? We don't agree with your religion. We don't agree with your morals. It's time for you to leave. It's time for you to stop hurting us. You are hurting us by taking in welfare dollars. Refugee status gives you where you're tax-free for 7 years, mandatory, and you're given a government liaison that gives you how they're contracted with Toyota and they're contracted with Motorola. So that's why, like in Columbus, Ohio, all the everybody there, man, they refugee status, they come in these Toyota Camrys. They got iPhones. They got freaking notepad deals. They got all of it, man. And I don't. I don't have any of that stuff. I can't afford it. So, uh, you know, that's what they do. They have a as soon as they're on refugee status. And actually, I was talking to a guy at Columbus State who said he went through all these illegal criminal channels to get from Somalia to Mexico. You have to pay money and do whatever, and you can still die. And then all he had to do, like once he got to the U.S. Mexican border, like that was real trying to get there. But once he got there, all he had to do was find a border patrol agent and say, "I'm a Somalian refugee." Boom, they bring him right in. The American people didn't institute that policy. The American ruling class instituted that policy, and it is in diametric opposition to what the American people want. That's why we block the DHS buses. That's why we're down there protecting our border. The American government is the enemy of the American people, whether that is comfortable for you or not. It's a reality that you need to let sink in. And by all means, research it. Don't, we're all used to your little petty voices of, no, it's not. Look. Read a book. Read a book. It can be online. It can be an online book. Read the damn thing. Come back with what you've researched. Let us have an engaged, intelligent conversation. Even if we disagree at the end, I bet both of us walk away having gained a little bit of virtue and knowledge. So let's try. Let's do that. I know it's an uncomfortable truth. I don't want to say it, let alone believe it. But I have only a million other readily available examples to voice to all of you as to how your government threw you under the damn bus many years ago. Many years ago. This isn't a new development of any kind. Now they're just instituting more aggressive policies because of how well they've been able to do thus far. Why wouldn't you? If your plan has worked, then yeah, you just keep it going. And then at some point, you really start to turn it on, Tiny wants me to talk about mental illness in adults and children. I'm actually getting ready to get off here, but that'll be good for next time. Sorry, Tiny. I've already gone a bit. So, yeah, there's nobody with any questions, as usual. Everybody's like, I'll watch it later. And then they see, like, oh, that's 120 minutes. I'm not watching that. I don't blame you. So, we have the situation that we're in, and here's what's going to happen. People are going to prepare. They're going to grow food. They're going to can food. They're going to stop paying the electric companies. They're going to quit their jobs. All of this sounds like craziness, right? Americans are taught to really put a high value on your job, a really high value. That's one of our biggest things is, a man meets a woman's dad for the first time. Well, where do you work? What do you do? But our jobs are hurting us, so we're going to prepare. And what we're going to do is, because you have to stop the money flow, right? We have to have a run on the banks. These are all things that we can do. They're well within our capabilities to do this. And then I know a lot of people don't want to be uncomfortable, and that's okay. That's okay. You can have whatever comfort you think you have now, and then see what comfort you have with a state-sponsored uniform, religion, belief system, in total. And then talk to me about comfort. So make a run on the banks. If your job says, yeah, but I direct deposit and you have a penalty or a fee for a paper check, tell them you want a paper check and that you need justification for that fee. Think about it. All the workers do it. If you talk to your that's all you have to do. Talk to your coworkers. Don't worry about somebody who you don't know. Don't worry about people you don't know, never going to meet, working somewhere else. Worry about what you got in your world. This is how it's going to start. We all start with our little area. That's how we do it. You know? So imagine you and everybody you work with tell your employer, hey, check this out. We want a paper check. Right? So then they give you this paper check. Well, you've already got it planned out with a local merchant, a private merchant. Hey, this is what day we get paid. Make sure you have enough money to cash our checks, right? So then, excuse me. So then we're screwing the banks, which are screwing us, and everybody knows it. They're charging you your money for you to get your money and for you to use your money, and then sometimes they charge you money if you don't get on their website. What in the hell? We're already being taxed on that wage like we shouldn't be. You know? People, come on. Come on. It's time. It's time to stand up. Whether you want to believe the long-haired guy or not, you know damn well for yourself this country isn't what it was, isn't what it should be. You know damn well it's not. You know? You can discern for yourself what you believe is right. Without issue. You don't have to listen to me, but I promise you, you come back after researching it, you and I are going to find ourselves fighting side by side. What I may have told you was a little bit controversial, may have been a lot controversial. You may, feel uncomfortable about it, but think about it. Honestly, think about it. I'm not telling anybody to be a sluggard. I'm telling you to quit your job eventually after you've gotten yourself where you need to be. You're going to do everything at once, hopefully. Quit your job, which means the electricity company can suck a dick, which means, the water company can go straight to hell. These utility companies are no good. Trust me. Ask the people in Detroit, man. Yeah, everyone tried to turn it around. Well, why don't they pay their bill? I pay mine. Are you freaking serious? It's 2014. We went to the moon a long goddamn time ago. How in the hell in America are you going to allow somebody to live a substandard level in America in 2014? There's got to be a better way. There always has been a better way. And it's listen to yourself for a second. People do not pay a water bill. They do not neglect to pay a water bill because they just don't want to. They neglect to pay a water bill when they can't afford to. And you damn well know it. Or at least you should. It's stupid for you to say anything else and you know it. It's a fucking jackass remark. And it's anti-American to boot. I don't give a damn how you feel about those people in the state up north, blah, blah, blah. Those people have children. Those people have grandchildren. Those are our fucking countrymen and women living without the basics. The basics. You gotta be shitting me, man. 2014, really? I'm ashamed of that. I'm ashamed of that. That our systems are in such bad a place and our people are so fucking goated that why don't they pay their bills? It's tough to stomach bullshit like that. Everybody knows damn well. You pay your water. Everybody wants water. Everybody needs water. You need water to wash your clothes. Wash your dishes. Everything. We need water. We have to have water. So you prepare yourself. You make sure that you can have access to the things that you need. And you plan it. We're already going to have to make ourselves pretty damn uncomfortable, which nobody, really wants to talk about in the mainstream. But we have to make ourselves uncomfortable. That's what it comes down to. So we choose the level of how we do that, right? We can't buy into these systems anymore. They're hurting us. We have to stop the money flow. We have to. It's going to have to be extreme. Look at what's happening. It's extreme. There is a methodology to do it, man. You plan your life, you plan your budget where you say a year from now, I'm going to have this, 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 and this. That way they can shut off my damn bills. Because listen. Any utility company that is willing to shut off the electricity, the water, the whatever, to a group of people can go straight to hell. And everybody who has their service should stop paying them immediately. Point. Just done. You don't fucking treat people that way, man. Those people are poor. That's all it comes down to. Why are they poor? Because our systems are screwed. Are you really going to deny that? Are you really seriously going to fucking sit there and deny some shit like that? That our financial systems are okay. Poor people are poor because they're lazy. Jesus H. Christ, people. Listen, that stopped being true before I was born, right? In the 50s, if you wanted to be a taxi driver, you could just paint taxi on the side of your damn car, and you were a taxi driver. Now, if I'm standing there and some dude in a beat-up Duster pulls up and he's smoking something that smells weird to me and says, hey, I'll give you a ride, no, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm going to wait for something else, something that looks a little bit more reputable. That's my choice. I can choose to be a dumbass and get in that taxi, or I can choose to not do that. You know, well, now they've regulated it. It's like $1 billion, trillion, gazillion dollars to be a taxi in New York. You know, okay, so your argument, you know, that says you're poor because you're lazy just got shot to death, resurrected, and shot again. Think about that. It's regulated out of existence. That's your pursuit of happiness, pursuit to happiness. It's been impeded. It's been impeded by government regulation. Government that's huge. You know? Took over the Department of Education, put Common Core in, has no common sense. You know? We're supposed to maintain curricula on the local level. Go to the department, education.gov. That's what it says on the cover. You know, like that's how it is in the United States. It's local governance and blah, 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 and private and all sorts. It says various types, you know, because you can have private schools with private funding and all of that. So get your heads out of your asses. People aren't poor because they just, you know, like, fuck it, I'm going to be poor. I got all this opportunity around me, man. Nope, not going to do it. No, not the case. People are beaten down. People are and you're acting like they're not. You're acting like everything's okay in the country, which is just fucking stupid. You know? Yeah, sure, there's some cases where people could be doing better for themselves. Well, what's going on here, man? What's going on here? You know? Are you judging those folks saying, oh, well, they're this and they're that, when you don't actually know? Probably. And you probably call yourself a Christian, and you wonder how you offended so many people. Every single one of you that are hearing this, seeing this, it's meant to be offensive. It's meant to wake up people. It's meant to open the eyes of those who haven't heard somebody who speaks along these terms. I speak for a pretty big contingency that grows and grows and grows. We're not a bunch of uneducated nitwits. We're engaged patriots. We're moms and dads. I want to say thanks to the Big Plantation, Live Truth Radio, all the guys that help out the Patriot organizations in the Central Ohio area. Also check out Be the Resistance in Southeast Indiana on Facebook. Also check out Unite Pennsylvania on Facebook. Unite Ohio, Forgotten Country, 3% Patriots, 3%ers, Guardians of Society, Awakened Cincinnatians. Those guys do a lot of good work. Overpasses for America, which is kind of tied into some of the other groups too. Man, dude, a lot of groups, a lot of help. We all want to protect our border. We all see our government betraying us. So let's get poised. Let's get ready. Let's formulate our plans. Let's tell the dumbasses that tell us it's illegal for us to protect our border that they are exactly the reason we are going to protect our border. You know, get the video out. Get my ugly mug.
out there to the world. Let's see how many people we can offend together with the truth. And as usual, guys, discern for yourself. Do not believe me. Thank you for your time.